All right, hey guys, Dr. Erin Sousley here. This is actually the second half of the Freedom Through Fitness webinar that we did a couple of weeks ago to kick off the 30-day fitness challenge. But as promised, I wanted to do a follow-up with this and talk a little bit about sports nutrition. So I get tons of questions having to do with, what do I eat before a workout, during a workout, after a workout? When do I eat? Do I work out fasted? Should I eat beforehand? How long should I wait afterward? So today I'm going to make this kind of short and sweet, hopefully 20 minutes or less. And I'm going to go through just a couple of really key concepts. And the thing is that, the answer to that question, or the answer to those questions, really is, it depends. It depends on what your goals are. So hopefully you guys can see this. And let's see here. Okay. Hang on 1 minute here. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this, but if you don't know who I am and you just stumbled across this on Facebook, I'm Dr. Erin Sousley, chiropractor, doctor of functional medicine. My wife and I have been practicing for over a decade now. And, part of what we do with patients is we increase their overall health by, helping them with their fitness levels and their nutrition. And so this is kind of the second half to the fitness webinar that we did a couple of weeks ago. If you want to join the challenge, it's not too late. We are about halfway through. Today's September 14th, but we still got a lot of month left. And all the workouts that I've posted up to this point are still on our Facebook page. So if you haven't done so already, we created a private Facebook group. It's called Freedom Through Fitness Group. It's open to anybody. You can join, you can share, you can add. If you want other people to join along with you, I highly recommend trying to do this with a buddy or a partner. But the format's really simple. There's no cost. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to hire a trainer. You don't have to buy anything. You just need your body, and you need just a little bit of space at home. So I am posting new exercise videos every morning at 6 a.m., except on the weekends. Usually they're like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. But every day I'm posting new stuff, and it's a variety of things. It's not all the same type of working out. So you can check those out. The past videos should still be up there, and then stay tuned for new videos. And really the goal is, the reason why we're doing this is to create a healthy habit, going into what we consider flu season, which there's really no such thing as flu season. It's not like the flu bug just miraculously, goes on steroids and becomes more virulent in the, over the colder months. It's just that during the holidays, we typically take really poor care of ourselves. We eat worse, we get poor sleep, we're more stressed out, we spend more money that we don't have. We're reminded of the relationships that cause stress or strain on our lives because we're around other people. We don't work out as much because the weather stinks. And anyway, it's just a recipe for, more sickness and illness. So the goal is to establish this habit or strengthen this habit going into that season so that you don't have to be a statistic. And so today we're going to focus for a little bit on nutrition, before, during, and after exercise. This was something that we gave out to people that started the challenge a couple of weeks ago. If you would like a copy of this movement recipe book, actually it's not, it doesn't look exactly like this. It's the keto recipe book. But if you'd like a copy of this, go ahead and just put your email. Actually, you probably don't want to put your email in the comments. If you want to email me personally, just email info@summitcda, so SUMMIT CDA, and just in the subject title, just write recipe book, and we'll send that to you. So this is a free ebook that I'd love to get in your hands, and this will help you along the process. So here are the questions we're going to go over today. What do I eat? When do I eat it? And how do I eat it? And the answer is, it depends. Is your goal weight loss? Is it endurance? Is it strength? Is it performance? Because depending on your goal, you're going to have different nutritional needs. I'm going to speak to the one that most people say. In clinic, this is part of what we do, is we have consultations with people, and all day long I'm asking people about their health goals. And I would say 80 to 90% of people out there that I talk to, at least, want to lose weight. They want to get more fit. They want to increase metabolism, balance hormones. But almost all people would love to lose a little bit of weight. And it's not just because they want to look better in a bathing suit or feel better about themselves, although those things are nice side effects. It's because we know that weight, excess weight, being overweight or obese, is a risk factor for degenerative illness and, early death, things like type 2 diabetes, cancer, heart disease, even Alzheimer's. They're calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes now. So losing weight is about way more than just looking good. It's about more than your aesthetics. It's about your health span and your lifespan. So pertaining to weight loss, to answer those questions, what do I eat? When do I eat it? I want to go through this and just break this down real quick. The best way to lose weight and balance hormones and increase your metabolism as far as sports nutrition is work out first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. So that doesn't necessarily mean right when you get out of bed, you got to run to the gym or run downstairs and start doing burpees or air squats. However, go have your morning coffee, whatever. Don't put a bunch of junk in it, but just do your thing. But before you start eating, do your workout and do it on an empty stomach, meaning you haven't eaten anything since the night before. And really, the reason why, and I'll go back to that slide in a second, but the reason why is, your body can burn two different types of fuel, either sugar or fat. It can burn amino acids from protein, but it really doesn't like that because it's inefficient. Amino acids are what your body uses to build bone and connective tissue and muscle. So really, amino acids is not an option. But your body either burns sugar or burns fat. Well, most of us want to be able to burn more fat, right? Because your body burns through your glycogen stores or your fat or your sugar stores relatively quickly when you start working out or just moving throughout the day. It's the fat that we're trying to get to. And so our bodies are kind of like an oil tanker. You've got this little gas tank up at the front that holds maybe, 20 gallons, 30 gallons, maybe 50 gallons in a big one like this. But then you've got this giant tank of reserves that you're carrying around with you all day long. That's the energy source that you're trying to get to. But the thing is, the way that your metabolism works is, your body will burn through the sugar or the glycogen stores first, then move on to the fat. And so what happens is if you eat something before you work out, you're literally pouring more gas into that little sugar tank, and you're undermining your body's ability to finally tap into, the overflow or the reserve tank, which would be the fat stores that you're trying to activate. So when you work out on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, you burn through those glycogen stores pretty quickly within the first few minutes, oftentimes. And then you got nothing left because there's nothing else in your stomach for your body to pull calories from. And so your body has to start burning fuel from fat. And so working out on an empty stomach is definitely the way to go. Yes, it's harder. Yes, you're going to have less energy. You're going to feel more groggy, but only for a period of time. You're going to condition your metabolism to become really efficient at burning fat for fuel, but you have to do it for a little while, sometimes 2 to 4 weeks to get to the point where you actually feel okay doing it. So now, my whole life, the last 15 years of my life probably, or at least 10, but probably closer to 15 now. I work out usually at 6 a.m. almost every day. And very rarely do I ever eat anything before I work out. Even if I'm going to go do, an hour-long CrossFit workout or an hour to an hour and a half long endurance training where I'm training for a triathlon or something, sometimes I'll take a little bit of nutrition with me on those types of workouts. But if it's an hour or less, even to this day, I'm working out in a fasted state. And I actually prefer that. I find that if I eat anything now, and it didn't used to be like this, when I was playing college football, if I didn't eat anything before, like right before, and then during my workout, I would literally eat a protein bar during my workout. Otherwise, I felt like I was going to just, zonk out. So you can train your metabolism, but you have to do it for a while to get to that point. So before your workout, don't eat anything. You can have some black coffee or tea if you want to, and make sure you get hydrated. We'll talk about hydration in just a little bit. During your workout, again, you don't need to eat anything, even though you might feel like you're starving because that small gas tank, the sugar gas tank is empty. You still have tons of fuel. You just haven't tapped into it yet, right? And then here's another mistake that a lot of people make. They immediately, right after a workout, they think they got to go eat something like a power bar or a protein shake or a muscle milk or something like that. You only have to do that if you're trying to increase strength and performance, which is less than 5% of people in my experience. And I'll talk about that scenario in just a minute. But for the average person that's just trying to lean up, lose weight, balance hormones, increase metabolism, don't eat anything for at least an hour after your workout. And it's for the same reason. Your metabolism, it's like the engine that you cranked up. You're not at idle anymore. You're cranking. The RPMs are still going really high. Well, if you start putting fuel into the tank, those RPMs that are running really high still, they're not going to have the opportunity to continue to burn that fat stores. They're going to start burning the fuel that you put into your mouth because it's the most readily available. So again, you want to give your body at least an hour, maybe even up to 2 hours before you start eating anything after a workout. And then after the workout, I highly recommend just doing something simple. I mean, I probably do this at least 5 or 6 days. I know for sure at least 5, sometimes 6, sometimes even 7 days a week, just because I like the power smoothie. I really enjoy it. It's quick, it's easy. It's probably the most nutrient dense meal of my entire day, even though I eat really, really clean. But I can't think of too many meals throughout the day where you can pack such a variety of nutrient dense foods into this little tiny container, and be done with it in 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm a huge fan of the power smoothie. Plus, it takes out the decision fatigue. There's this thing in psychology called decision fatigue where, it's the reason why Steve Jobs wore a pair of jeans and a black t-shirt every day to work. The guy's worth billions of dollars and he wears a black t-shirt and jeans. Same thing with Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. The guy wears a hooded sweatshirt and jeans every day. The guy could, buy Nordstrom's if he really wanted to. Why does he do that? Well, both of them have said that it eliminates the number of decisions that they have to make every day, because every decision that you have to make, number one, you find yourself at a crossroads. Like, do I do this or do I this? Do I do this? And you have to use just a little bit of willpower to do the right thing. Even if it's an easy right thing, you still have to use that little bit of willpower. And studies show that over the course of a 24-hour period, you only get so much willpower. And when you use it up, it's gone. It takes a little while for you to power back up. So it eliminates some of the decision fatigue. So you just don't have to think about it. You're doing something right. You just lock onto it. You set it in your schedule. You prepare for it. You have everything in your fridge that you need, or in your pantry as far as supplements and anything else. And you just do that. That's why even on the weekends, oftentimes I'll just still do my power smoothie, because I don't want to have to decide, what am I going to eat today? When do I eat? What do I eat? How much? Is this healthy? Is it not? Is it exactly what I want it to be? The power smoothie answers all those things. So take a screenshot of this, or you can email me if you want the actual document with the recipe. But this is what I would recommend, and even if your goal is for strength, endurance, and performance. So there's a couple of nuances in here that are variable depending on what your goals are. But even still, if you look down at the bottom, the after nutrition, if you will, is still a power smoothie. I mean, you can eat some clean protein and carbs if you want to, if you'd rather mix it up or have an actual meal. The main differences, though, between weight loss and fat burning versus strength, endurance, performance, they're very, very similar in my experience. I've kind of played around with all this stuff over the years. I have a degree in exercise physiology. I was a personal trainer all the way through chiropractic school, played college football. I've done a ton of Ironman triathlons. I still do CrossFit. I'm just kind of a fitness and nutrition nerd. But I have found that no matter what your goals are, pretty much just a really clean, balanced diet that's timed correctly will solve most of your problems. So the nuances are, when your goals are strength, endurance, performance. So this would be like if you're trying to put on a bunch of muscle, if you're trying to get ready for a really intense athletic event, or if you're a college or a high school or a professional athlete, or if you're trying to get ready for something like a marathon or a triathlon, those needs are a little bit different nutritionally than just someone who's trying to lose weight, because you are going to sacrifice some muscle growth. You are going to sacrifice some energy if you do the weight loss route, but the benefit is rapid results versus going this way. So the differences are, if these are your goals, you want to eat something before you work out, because again, you don't necessarily want to be burning through just those fat stores. You want a little bit of something to give you just a little bit. You want to top off your glycogen stores, essentially, which is the quick sugar energy that is stored in your liver and your muscles. You want to make sure those are fully topped off. So you want to eat something about 60 to 90 minutes beforehand, and it should really be in the form of clean protein and carbs, so egg whites and brown rice, or turkey and black beans, or wild caught salmon and quinoa, something like that. And then again, make sure you're hydrating, because it's funny, because if you're even just a little bit dehydrated, which especially if you're working out in the morning, you're not drinking fluids all night long, and then you wake up and you go to the bathroom once or twice, or at least first thing in the morning, then you go and drink a bunch of coffee, so you're even more dehydrated. Dehydration is one of the number one causes of fatigue, especially mid-workout fatigue or midday fatigue. If you just drink more water, you'd have a lot more energy. During your workout, unless you're going longer than 60 minutes, you don't really need to consume anything during your workout. I will take electrolytes or amino acids. I take the amino complex from Thorne Nutraceuticals, which I think is one of the best out there. But that's only if I'm doing like a really, really extended effort. So a lot of times I won't even take electrolytes or amino acids unless I'm going for longer than 90 minutes, which is very rare. And I would say most people probably aren't doing that. So you really don't need anything except water. And then after, this is a big difference too, you do want to make sure that you're consuming, again, either a power smoothie or clean protein and carbs within about 30 minutes. So the main benefit of consuming some kind of clean protein and carbohydrates in that 30-minute window after you work out, in the strength, endurance, and performance scenario, is that you replenish your glycogen stores really quickly. And when you work out hard, you're literally creating these little microfiber tears in the muscles and ligaments and joints. And it's those things rebuilding that create the increase in strength and hypertrophy and everything else. Well, if you give your body all the necessary materials that it needs to rebuild, aka, for example, amino acids or electrolytes, then your body's going to be able to recover faster. So I have found personally that, when I'm in a really heavy training phase where I'm doing tons and tons of stuff, 60 minutes plus every single day, if I can supplement with electrolytes or amino acids during my workouts, and then I can eat really quickly afterward, I recover a lot faster. So I'm not nearly as sore the next day. So if you're really prone to soreness the next day, again, if your goal is weight loss and hormone balance, I still don't think you need to eat anything right away. But if you're really trying to increase your fitness level and you're trying to increase muscle mass or strength, you probably ought to consume something in that 30-minute window, but just make sure it's clean. Okay, I want to talk about sweating just a little bit, because sweating seems like something that's, obvious, that just comes along with working out. But it's interesting because I ask people, I talk to people all the time, and they'll tell me, yeah, I don't really sweat when I work out. And my philosophy is, if you're not sweating, you're still warming up, so you should be working out to the extent that you're sweating. I mean, my clothes are dripping wet most of the time, even after a 15 to 20 minute workout, because I'm pushing my body that hard. So either A, you're just not working out hard enough. And I get it. If you have a knee issue or you have an injury or you're just really out of shape, you got to ease into it. I'm not saying you got to go crush yourself on day one, but that's part of the beauty of the fitness challenge, is I'm trying to make these workouts stuff that anybody can do with modifications and variations, so that even if you have, injuries or a bad knee or a bad shoulder, I'm giving you variations so that you can still do them at a pretty high intensity to get your heart rate up, get you sweating. So either A, you're not working out hard enough, or B, you're extremely toxic or dehydrated, which, I mean, those things kind of go hand in hand. But, sweat is mostly water. It's water, it's chemicals, and it's salt, and electrolytes. And so if you're not sweating, it could just be that you don't have enough water to give. Your body's not willing to give up the small amount of water that you still have in your system, so you're not going to sweat. The problem is, if you're not sweating, you're not detoxifying. If you're not sweating, you're also not cooling off. Just from a mechanistic standpoint, our bodies sweat to cool ourselves. That's why you don't sweat when it's 20 degrees outside, and you sweat a ton when it's 100 degrees outside, because your body's trying to cool itself off. So it's a great internal temperature regulation mechanism, but it's also fantastic for detoxification. In fact, that's why saunas and steam rooms and that kind of thing are just all the rage right now, because people know the benefits from sweating, and sweating a lot on a regular basis just massively improves detoxification rate. So you want to make sure and stay hydrated. I mean, the average, kind of the rule of thumb, across the board for the average person, is that you should be getting at least half your body weight in ounces of water every day. So I'll say that again, it's half your body weight in ounces of water every day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you would drink 75 ounces of water a day. If you weigh 100 pounds, you drink 50, 200, 100. You get the idea. If you're working out a lot, or you're an athlete who's working out a ton, sweating a lot, or you work outside in the heat, you're sweating a lot, you probably need to up that to at least 60% of your body weight in ounces of water every day. So just make sure you're hydrating. Again, it's such a simple thing, but I can't tell you how many people, they just don't drink enough water, and they're tired all the time, and they're toxic, and they have brain fog, and they have slow metabolism. If you would just drink more water, that would change everything. Another thing is, I just want to say, try to stay away from sports drinks if you can help it. I just read somewhere that in the average sports drink, there's 34 grams of sugar, which is the same amount of sugar as I think 2 or 3 servings of ice cream. So we don't think of ice cream as a fitness food, and yet we're pounding down Powerades and Gatorades and all this different stuff. Just read the label. All you got to do is flip it over, read the label, and you're going to find all this stuff. You're going to find food dyes. You're going to find artificial flavors, stuff that you can't pronounce. And if you can't pronounce it, it's not a real food. You shouldn't put it in your body. Artificial sweeteners, high fructose corn syrup, which is a neurotoxin, and it creates hyperactivity in the brain, which leads to a whole host of things. The point is that, sports drinks are anything but fitness foods. So stay away from them. Water is nature's perfect hydration liquid, right? Because your body's mostly made up of water. So you want to refill with what your body's mostly made up of. If you want something that's a little bit, higher content with electrolytes, then coconut water. Coconut water is fantastic. In fact, coconut water has the same osmolarity or density in terms of particles as human plasma, and so the nutrient exchange is really, really fluid from coconut water to human plasma. So basically, it gets in your system really, really easily. You just got to make sure that the coconut water you're buying isn't full of a bunch of artificial flavors or sugars. One of the last things that I'll say today, and then I'll wrap this up, is just that these are the things that I put in my smoothie. So not the Max Fit. The Max Fit is separate, but the Max Greens, and then I don't put all of these proteins into my smoothie. I actually kind of switch this up now and again. I'm a big fan of getting your nutrients from different sources and not always just eating the same exact thing. I will say that over the last few years, the Pure Path protein from bone broth has become my favorite. One, because it's just absolutely delicious. I mean, it's by far the best tasting protein of any kind from any manufacturer I've ever had. It's just phenomenal. But again, I like to mix it up. The plant protein, a lot of plant proteins taste really chalky, and they just taste like protein that you would get from a plant, just not very palatable. But this plant protein is actually pretty good. It's a bit chalky, but still, relative to most plant proteins, I actually think it's really good, and I don't mind it at all. And then the grass-fed protein is from whey. The only thing you got to watch out for there is if you have a dairy intolerance, or if you're trying to minimize the amount of dairy that you're taking in. The difference with this whey in terms of dairy is that it's from grass-fed cows. So you shouldn't have an issue, even if you are trying to minimize the amount of dairy that you're trying to consume. The grass-fed whey should have no issues whatsoever because it's undenatured protein from grass-fed cows. So I put a scoop of the protein in my smoothie. I put a scoop of the Max Greens. The Max Greens has, I think, over 30 different vegetables, and it's over 7 pounds of vegetables per serving that have been dehydrated and then processed into a powder. So, that's why I don't know anywhere else where you can get 7 pounds of vegetables in one meal, through a smoothie that takes 5 minutes to drink. I mean, it's just great efficiency there. And then the Max Fit, the Max Fit is not something that I've taken a ton over the years, but Max Fit in particular, relative to people that are trying to lose weight or increase metabolism or balance hormones, I do think it's a really, really valuable supplement to take, not all the time, but maybe for 3 months or maybe for 2 months. And there's 2 main ingredients that make Max Fit really valuable. Number one, green coffee bean extract. So it's green coffee beans. So they're not caffeinated. There's no caffeine in there, but it still increases your energy and metabolism a little bit. And then also ashwagandha, which is an adaptogenic herb, which basically helps your body reduce stress. So it helps your body adapt to the environment. So I always say there's 2 types of people that benefit greatly from Max Fit. Those people who are trying to lose weight and increase energy, or people who are trying to get through a stressful season of your life. So this isn't something you take forever just because your life is stressful. No, you got to get to the root cause. However, taking Max Fit for a month or 2 because you're going through a transition or you lost a loved one or a separation or something like that, Max Fit can help because ashwagandha is just a natural occurring thing found in nature that helps reduce your cortisol levels and reduces your body's stress response. So I think CC's putting up links to these things if you want to buy them on our website, or you're more than welcome to come into the office to purchase them. But these are all things that I put in my smoothie every day. And the last thing I'll say is, if you want to learn more about nutrition or toxicity or metabolism, then definitely you should think about coming to our mountain class. So this is a live class. This is not going to be a webinar. So if you don't live local, I'm sorry. But if you live in the area and you're available, or you're willing to be available Monday, September 21st, this is going to be an awesome class. It's getting full really quick, and we got to keep it to a certain number of people. But this is being taught by our functional nutritionist, CC McClintock, who does a phenomenal job of making metabolism, toxicity, and nutrition easy to understand, because, you know, Lord knows it's a complicated topic. And even just one of those topics is enough to make your head spin if you look at all the science and all the metabolic pathways and all the physiology and everything. She does a great job of kind of tying it all together, and then gives you, you know, practical action steps to know what to do, you know. And she even talks about advanced nutrition testing and who that's right for, and, you know, when and where should you have advanced nutrition testing, stuff that you can't get at a doctor's office, but that we can do through functional medicine. She's going to go through all that stuff. So if you're interested in joining that class, again, we have just a handful of spots that are available. It's a free workshop. It's Monday the 21st. It goes from 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. Just make sure that you, there should be a link that's popping up in the comment section here. Just follow the link, register through Eventbrite. You'll get a confirmation email. And then if for any reason you feel like you're going to bring a guest, or you have someone in mind that you want to bring, we're open to that, but you have to tell us ahead of time. Like, we literally only have a certain number of seats that we can put out. And if you bring a guest and it's someone that's not on the schedule or on the list, they're not going to be able to attend. So they're going to have to wait in the car for you or something else. So just, if you want to bring a guest, we would love to have them, but you just got to make sure and let us know ahead of time. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed today. Hope you've been enjoying the fitness challenge. If you have any questions or comments, you know, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I'll come back for the next 24 hours and try to follow up with as many of these as I can. And then let me know how you're doing. You know, if you're having success with this stuff, with the fitness challenge, maybe take some before and after pictures, or just leave a comment, you know, shoot me an email, let me know how you're doing. And I hope that this thing's a big success for you. All right, we'll see you next time.